Next question in average speed. Now see here, the question says a train moves at a constant speed of 160 kilometers per hour for 5 kilometers and at 64 kilometers per hour for the next 7 kilometers. What is the average speed of the train? Now see here. What is that they are saying in the question? There is a train which is traveling from one place to another place, right? There is a train which is traveling from one place to another place. For the first 5 kilometers of journey, it is traveling at a speed of 160 kilometers per hour, and for the next 7 kilometers of journey, it is traveling at a speed of 64 kilometers per hour. What is the average speed of the train is the question. Now see here, we know that speed is nothing but equal to distance by time. Time is nothing but equal to distance by speed, right? All these things we know it very, very clearly. We want to find average speed of the train in this question, and we know that average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time. What is the total distance that is traveled? First 5 kilometers is traveled and later 7 kilometers is traveled. So total distance is 5 plus 7 kilometers. Total time. Time is nothing but distance by speed. So time taken from A to C, for example, if I name these as A, B and C, time taken from A to C is nothing but distance divided by speed. Distance is 5 kilometers. Speed is nothing but 160 kilometers per hour, plus time taken from C to B is nothing but distance is 7 kilometers. Speed is nothing but 64 kilometers per hour. But the only problem with this kind of methodology is I have fractions in the denominator and I need to simplify the fractions, and I will waste a lot of time by simplifying the fraction. Okay, let us do it. This is 5 into 1, 5 into 32. So I can simplify this as 12 divided by 32 and 64. LCM is 64, which I will put it directly in the numerator because it is denominator of denominator. I will directly put it into numerator. So 32 into 2 is 64 and 64 into 1 is 64. So 1 into 7 is 7. So denominator becomes 2 plus 7, 9. So this I can further simplify as 3 into 4 and 3 into 3 is 9. So 64 into 4. 64 into 4 is how much? 60 into 4 is 240. 4 into 4 is 16. 256 divided by 3. Average speed for this train is 85.33 kilometers per hour. But this I will not encourage you people to use this kind of methodologies for sure. Why? Because this is a very simple question which has only one part and the second part. It has only two parts. What if there is one more part saying that another 6 kilometers at 30 kilometers per hour speed, something like that? I'm just giving an example. Then you should add one more fraction in the numerator. The more number of fractions in the denominator, the more complex it will be to simplify for you people. So whatever the method I have solved in this screen, I will call this as method 1. I am not saying that method 1 will not give you the answer, but I am saying that method 1 will give you the answer in a very, very complex way by simplifying the fractions. Kindly avoid method 1 to solve this kind of problems. Now see here, same question, exact same question I will try to solve by using another beautiful method, and I believe that this method you will definitely try to implement going further. Now see here, a train moves at a constant speed of 160 kilometers per hour and for 5 kilometers and 64 kilometers per hour for the next 7 kilometers. That means distance they are saying the distance as for the first 5 kilometer it is traveling at a speed of 160 kilometers per hour speed, and for the next 7 kilometers it is traveling at a speed of 64 kilometers per hour speed. So I can say that the distance ratio is 5:7. I hope it is clear for you people. The ratio of the distance is 5:7, and I know that the distance between one place to another place is a constant quantity. Because the distance is constant, I will assume the distance as LCM of the given speeds, like the way I assume the distance as LCM of the given speeds in the first or second problem. Same to same concept I will implement here. I will assume the distance as LCM of the given speeds. LCM of 160 and 64, it will be 320 kilometers. That means I am assuming the distance as 320 kilometers. If the distance is 320 according to my assumption, first in 1 hour it will cover 160. To cover 320 it will take 2 hours. In 1 hour it will cover 64. To cover 320 it will take 5 hours. So according to my assumption of 320 kilometers, it will take 2 hours for the first part of the distance and 5 hours for the second part of the distance. But according to the ratio, it is 5 and 7 is the ratio of distance. So total distance according to ratio is 5 plus 7, which is 12. According to ratio, total distance is 12 kilometers. But according to my assumption, it is 320 kilometers. 12 should become 320. But unfortunately, 12 cannot be multiplied by any whole number to become 320. So therefore, once again you will end up with fractions. So what I will do is, just for me to avoid fractions, I know that the distance ratio is 5:7, and I also know that when I divide 320 by 5 and 7, I should not get any fractions. So I will take the distance as 5 into 320 ratio with 7 into 320. I hope you are understanding it very, very clearly why I took like this. Because if I take in this manner, I know that according to ratio, total distance is 12 into 320. According to my assumption, it is 320. So basically, their multiplying factors can be easily found out. I hope you are understanding. That means, can I say that to cover a distance of 320 kilometers, I will take 2 hours. But to cover a distance of 5 into 320 kilometers, I will take 2 into 5 hours. So totally I will take 10 hours for the first part of the distance. Similarly, to just cover a distance of 320 kilometers, I will take 5 hours. But to cover a distance of 7 multiplied by 320 kilometers, I will take 5 into 7, that is 35 hours. That means I know that average speed can be easily calculated right now, because average speed is total distance. Total distance is 5 into 320 plus 7 into 320. That is nothing but 12 into 320, right? Or 320 into 12 divided by total time. Total time is, it is 10 hours plus 35 hours. Easily you can get the answer using this kind of beautiful shortcuts, and you will not have any fractional simplifications in this kind of beautiful methods. So 320 into 12 divided by 45. So it is 3 into 4, 3 into 15 once again. 5 into 3 is 15, and 5 into 5 into how much? 5 into 60 is 5 into 64 is 320. 64 into 4 divided by 3. Once again you will end up with the same answer as 85.33 kilometers per hour, which is option C. I hope method 2 is very clear. Do not worry, we will use more and more problems by using, we will solve more and more problems by using method 2, so that you will be very clear about it. But having said that, I have explained in detail how actually method 2 will work in this particular screen. But to the right side of the screen, wherever I am highlighting right now, I will make it even more simpler for you. Now see here, how can I make it simpler for you in my upcoming problems without actually multiplying everything by 320 here and there, everything? How to make it more simpler, that I am explaining in this question only, in this screen only, so that in the upcoming problem we will be very fast in solving the problem. Now see here, we know that the speed is 160 kilometers per hour. for the first part and 64 kilometers per hour for the second part, and the distance ratio is 5:7, and I assume the distance as 320 kilometers, and because of this I got this as 2 hours, and because of this I got here as 5 hours. Everything till here is absolutely the same. Let me use a different color so that it will be easier for you to understand. Now see here, rather than multiplying 320 here, 320 here, and again by 5 here, again by 7 here, all these things you don't need to do while solving. I directly want to write average speed just by whatever I have right now here. From here to here, whatever I have right now, just by this I want to write the average speed value directly. How to write it? See here, it's so simple. Total distance, average speed is total distance by total time. Total distance is whatever the assumed distance of 320 multiplied by the sum of the ratios of the distances 5 plus 7, 12. That is exactly what you got here. You don't need to write all these things in the examination hall, is what I am trying to say you people. Divided by total time. How did you get this 10 hours? Already there is a 2 here. Just multiply with the first ratio 5. 2 into 5 is 10, and already there is 5 here. Just multiply by the second ratio 7. 5 into 7 is 35. That is exactly what I wrote and showed it to you earlier. I wrote everything possible and I have showed it to you in the left side of the screen. But I am condensing you. I am condensing the writing part on the right side of the screen so that directly you can write this and you can save a lot of time in our upcoming problems and also in the examination. I hope you are super clear. Why not to use method 1? Why to use method 2? And in method 2 also, why not to write all the unnecessary parts which I have written on the left side of the screen? And why you should write only the right side part of the screen in the upcoming problems and follow the same thing in the examination hall also. I hope it is clear for you people. Next question. Now see here, you will solve this question very fast. A man travels from A to B 51 kilometer distance with a speed of 24 kilometers per hour. Okay. A person is traveling from A to B. A person is traveling from A to B. The distance is 51 kilometers and the speed is 24 kilometers per hour. Okay. First statement is absolutely clear. And he travels from B to C 68 kilometer distance with a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. From B he continues to travel to C and the distance is 68 kilometers from B to C and the speed is 30 kilometers per hour. Find the average speed of the whole journey is the question. It's so fast and so simple right now. You know that from the previous problems, you know that you can calculate the distance ratio. Distance ratio was calculated in the previous question as 5:7. Here the distance ratio is 51:68. 17 into 3 is 51. 17 into 4 is 68. So the distance ratio is 3:4 and the speeds are given as 24 kilometers per hour for the first part, 30 kilometers per hour for the second part, and we also know the distance ratio right now as 3:4, right? 3:4, and I know the distance is constant, so I will assume the distance as LCM of 24 and 30, which is 120 kilometers. 120 in 1 hour 24 to cover 120 it is 5 hours. In 1 hour 30 to cover 120 it is 4 hours. I want you people directly to write the average speed right now without multiplying 3 by something and 4 by something. I don't want you to multiply 3 by 3 into 120, 4 into 120 like the way I have written here on the left side of the screen for the last previous question. I want you people to directly write it. How will you directly write it? So the assumption of distance is 120. Write down that 120 multiplied with the sum of the ratios of the distance. 3 plus 4 is 7 divided by, this is total distance. Total time is nothing but total time is 3 into 5. It is 15. plus 4 into 4, it is 16. As simple as it can be, sir. It can be so simple if you apply this method. So it is 840 divided by 31. 840 divided by 31 should be the answer for this question in kilometers per hour. 840 divided by 31, option A. You can solve it so fast if you are using this kind of methodology, whatever I have taught. Now see the next question also. Next question, there are so many parameters, but still you will end up solving this question so fast. Now see here, can I say that a person travels 900 kilometers by train at 80 kilometers per hour. So by train he is traveling at a speed of 80 kilometers per hour and the distance is 900 kilometers. Okay, let us write the distance somewhere here. Distance is nothing but 900 kilometers. This is by train, and 1200 kilometers by ship. Okay, by ship it is 1200 kilometers at 240 kilometers per hour. So the speed is given as 240 kilometers for the ship. This is by train, this is by ship. 750 kilometer by aeroplane. The distance is 750 kilometers and this is by aeroplane. And the speed is given as 400 kilometers per hour. I hope you are super clear in understanding whatever I am trying to write on the screen. And 150 kilometers by car. By car, the distance traveled is 150 kilometers and the speed is 100 kilometers per hour. What is the average speed of the entire distance? Now, first of all, what is the distance ratio? All the four values, 900, 1200, 750, 150 are all multiples of 150. 900 is 150 into 6. 1200 is 150 into 8. 750 is 150 into 5. 150 is 150 into 1. So the distance ratio is 6 is to 8 is to 5 is to 1. I hope you are clearly understanding whatever I am trying to write here. Distance ratio is 6 is to 8 is to 5 is to 1. Let me use a different color for your better understanding. Speed values are given, but I know the distance is constant. I will assume the distance as LCM of all these four values. LCM of all the four values of 80, 240, 400 and 100 is, it is 1200 kilometers. In 1 hour it is 80. To cover 1200, it will take 15 hours. I hope you are understanding. In 1 hour, it is 240. To cover 1200, it will take 5 hours. Right? It will take 5 hours. 1 hour 400. To cover 1200, it is 3 hours. In 1 hour 1200, sorry, in 1 hour 100. To cover 1200, it is 12 hours. I hope everything is very clear for you people. Now, I want you people to directly write the average speed equation. Average speed is total distance divided by total time. First of all, the assumption of distance is 1200. Multiply this with the distance ratio sum. 8 plus 4, 6 is 14, 14 plus 6 is 20. So it is 1200 into 20 the total distance. Total time is 6 into 15, it is 90. 5 into 8, it is 40. 3 into 5, I hope you are understanding, it is 15. And 1 into 12, it is 12. I am very clear right now that you people are understanding. And if you remember, to make this equation so simple for you, I have explained this right side of the screen for you people couple of problems before. If I did not explain this right part of the screen, you still would have done all these unnecessary extra steps whatever I have written on the left part of the screen, and you would have wasted your time. Now I believe that you are super fast in calculating all these values. Just calculate it, sir. 1200 into 20, it should be 24,000, and 130 plus 15, 145 plus 12, it should be 157. 24,000 divided by 157 kilometers per hour should be the answer. Just calculate it. I think, if I am not wrong, because 157 into 157, it is closer to 24,000. So somewhere it will be somewhere closer to 152.86 is what I think. So let us just calculate in calculator right now itself. Let me do it, sir. 24,000 divided by what is the value? 157. Yes, it should give you 152.86. I just calculated by mind, not exact value, in fact, just by approximation I calculated. So because 155 square, if you know, you can easily calculate. but 157, or you can just calculate like this, 150 into 150, it is 2.25 to 22,500, but you should make 150. So what I'm trying to say, okay, let me say it here, how to calculate. 150 into 150, 15 into 15 is how much? 225 followed by 2 zeros. Now this is 157, that means you should increase it, right? You should increase it to 157. Answer will be definitely greater than 22,500, so it is 24,000 here also, and here also you have 150. So if I increase by 152 here, so approximately you will get it at 24,000 is what I just, that is how I calculated. But there are multiple ways where you can calculate that value. But anyway, we are not actually interested in finding the division value here. We are interested in calculating the average speed for this particular question. And I believe that it is very clear for you people how we calculated the average speed. Next question, see here, it's also a very beautiful question, but a very simple question. In fact, a car travels from A to B at V1 kilometers per hour. Okay, let us mark that A and B initially. A car is traveling from A to B at V1 kilometers per hour. Let me use a different ink right now. Now, a car is traveling from A to B, and the speed at which it is traveling is V1 kilometers per hour, right? V1 kilometers per hour. Travels back from B to A at V2 kilometers per hour. It is traveling back from B to A at V2 kilometers per hour, and again goes back from A to B at V2 kilometers per hour. Now it is at point A. Again it will travel from A to B, and this time it will travel at a speed of V2 kilometers per hour. Find the average speed of the car is the question. Now we know that average speed is the total distance divided by total time, and the distance between these 2 points A and B is constant. Whenever we want to calculate the distance in all our previous problem, how did we get this 1200 as the distance in the previous problem? That is my assumption of taking as LCM of the given speeds. So if you want to calculate the distance, you can assume it as LCM of the given speeds. Same example or same explanation in this question also. One of the speed is V1, another speed is V2. So the distance will be assumed as LCM of V1 and V2 and V2. So it is V1 into V2. I hope you are clear. So can I say that I am assuming the total distance as V1 into V2 kilometers. So this is the total distance. So if I want to calculate the average speed is total distance divided by total time. Total distance from A to B, it will travel V1 V2. Again from B to A, it will travel another V1 V2. One more time from A to B, it will travel another V1 V2. So numerator should become 3 times of V1 V2. So definitely option C and option B are ruled out because they are 2 times of V1 V2. It cannot be possible. Now either option C or option D should be the right answer. Now total distance we calculated. Total time. Time is nothing but distance by speed. Distance from A to B is nothing but V1 V2 divided by speed is nothing but V1. So V1 V2 divided by V1, it is nothing but V2 plus time from B to A. It is distance by speed. Distance from B to A is V1 V2 and speed is nothing but V2. V2 will cancel. You will be left with V1 and time from A to B. Once again, the last travel from A to B, that means the upper value or the upper arrow what I have put here, that is so distance by speed. Distance is V1 V2 once again. Speed is V2. V2 will cancel once again. You will be left with V1. So numerator is 3 times of V1 V2. Denominator is 2 times of V1 plus V2. That is nothing but option C and it is not option D. I hope you are very clear how to solve this kind of questions in the most easiest way possible. Next question. Now see here. It is your original CGL prelims question in 2018. This can be solved in 2 methods. And again, a train covers 360 kilometers at uniform speed. We don't know at what speed it is traveling, but the distance that it is covering is 360 kilometers. The question also says, if the speed had been 10 kilometers more, it would have taken 3 hours less for the journey. That means the time difference should be 3 hours. Earlier it was taking some time. Now that final time will be 3 hours less than that. That means the difference between the time should be 3 hours. What is the speed of the train? Now question is, what is the speed of the train? Answer option also will represent the speed of the train. Let us go one by one with the answer option. If I choose the initial speed as 40 kilometers per hour, first statement says initially it is actually the train is covering 360 kilometers. So 360 by 40, it will take 9 hours, and the speed is increased by 10 kilometers. That means 40 will now become 50 kilometers per hour speed, and 360 divided by 50, it is not a whole number, right? It's a fractional or a decimal value. That means the 9 hours minus a decimal value will never be equal to 3 hours difference. So first option cannot be the right answer. Same to same explanation. 360 divided by 25 is a fractional value. 360 divided by increased by 10, 35, 25 becomes 35. That also is a fractional value. You will not get it as 3 hours difference. First two options are ruled out. Let us assume the third option is correct answer. Initially it was traveling at 30 kilometers per hour speed. The speed now is increased by 10. It becomes 40 kilometers per hour. 360 divided by 30, it is 12 hours it was taking. 360 divided by 40, it is 9 hours. So earlier it was taking 12 hours. Now it is taking 9 hours. That means it is taking 3 hours less than the original time it was supposed to take. That is exactly what is given in the question also. It says it would have taken 3 hours less for the journey. Because my statement in the question is becoming true when I choose answer option C, my assumption of answer option C is also definitely the right answer. Answer for this question is 30 kilometers per hour. But having said that, this I will call it as method 1, right? I will call this method as method 1. I will also teach you one more beautiful method for the same question, and it is your duty to choose whichever the method you are comfortable. Now see here, question says, so we have speed, we have time. Question says a train covers 360 kilometers at uniform speed. So total distance, we know the distance is equal to speed into time, and that distance is given in the question as 360 kilometers. Now see the next statement. If the speed had been 10 kilometers more, speed is 10 kilometers, it would have taken 3 hours less for the journey. Time is given as 3 hours. Forget about more or less. Don't worry about more. Don't worry about less. Those two words, don't worry about it. Just write down the magnitude or the numerical values. Speed is given as 10. Time is given as 3. Now, what I will do is, I will increase. I will double speed. 10 becomes 20. I will double time also. 3 becomes 6. If you do the cross multiplication, 10 into 6 is 60. 20 into 3 is also 60. That means we are doing a right calculation. Both the ways you are getting the same distance as 60 kilometers. But is the distance 60? No, the question says 360. Okay, then I will not stop at this point because I got the distance as only 60. But I should get the distance as 360. Now, again, I have doubled this 10. Now triple it. That means 3 times. 10 will become 30. 3 will become 9. If you want to check it out, 10 into 9 is 90. 30 into 3 is also 90. Or 20 into 9 is 180. 30 into 6 is also 180. That means we got the speed as 180. Sorry, distance as 180. But the actual distance according to question is 360. So continue. I have multiplied 10 by 2, it became 20. I have multiplied 10 by 3, it became 30. Let me now multiply 10 by 4. If the speed is multiplied by 4, time also let me multiply it by 4. What is 3 into 4? It is 12. Right, 3 into 4 is 12. Now if you want check it out, I will use a different color so that it will be very clear for you people. If you want check it out, 30 into 12, it is 360 kilometers. That is exactly what is given in the question. 40 into 9 is also 360 kilometers. That is also exactly what is given in the question. That means we will only take last two values into account. That means Initially, I was traveling at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Initially, I was taking 9 hours. Finally, I increased by speed by 10 kilometers, so it became 40 kilometers per hour, and now I am taking 12 hours. There is a gap of 3 hours, which is exactly what is given in the question also. And what is the speed of train, which is nothing but the initial speed. Initial speed is 30 kilometers per hour. The same answer we got in method 1 also by using answer options method. So which one should I use? Which one? As a student, if I am a student, which one should I use? I will never say that, because it is your wish. It is completely dependent on you. One student might feel method 1 is easy. Another student might feel method 2 as easy. You decide which is easy for you and please use that particular method. I hope there is a lot of clarity for all the students listening to the class. Next question. See here. More or less similar question. Question says, a truck covers a distance of 384 kilometers at a certain speed. Distance is nothing but speed into time, and that distance is given in the question as how much? 384 kilometers. If the speed is decreased by 16 kilometers per hour, it will take 2 hours more to cover the same distance. What is 75% of the speed? That means all the answer options are given for 75% of the speed, but who will calculate for 75% of the speed? It's time waste. Let us calculate the same answer options for 100% of the speed. That means total speed. If 75% is constituting for 45, first option, 75% is constituting for 45, then 100% will constitute for how much, right? It will one option I am showing it to you. 75% is constituting for 45, 100% will constitute for how much? Now 75% is nothing but 3 by 4. It's very simple, sir. 3 by 4 is constituting for 45. Now same to same logic. Numerator 3 is becoming 45. Multiply by 15. Denominator also multiply by 15. That means if 75% is constituting for 45, 100% will constitute for how much? 60. That means first option, what is the speed? If they are asking you to find the speed, first option is 60. Like that, second option, 54, 75%. So 3 by 4 is nothing but actually given as 54. So 3 into 18 is 54. 4 into 18 is 72. Second option should be 72. Similarly, 75% is 48. 3 into 16 is 48. 4 into 16 is 64. I hope you are understanding. 3 by 4 is nothing but last option 42. 3 into 14 is 42. 4 into 14 is 56. So instead of calculating or working with 75% of the speed in the question, let us work with the full speed. Full speed is nothing but the 100% of the speed. Now same to same question once again, same to same explanation. Let me use a different color right now so that it will be very clear for you. Now speed and time are the two parameters which are present. Speed is decreased by 16. Write down speed 16. Time will be 2 hours more. So time will be 2 hours. Write down just that value 2. Now same to same logic. Double this speed, it becomes 32. Double the time, it becomes 4. 16 into 4 is 64. 32 into 2 is also 64. But the distance is not 64. Distance is 384. Again, triple this 16, it becomes 48. Triple this 2, it becomes 6. If you want, check it out. 32 into 6 or 48 into 4, they both are not equal to 384. So ruled out. Similarly, multiply speed by 4 times. 16 into 4 is 64. 2 also multiply by 4. 2 into 4 is 8. Now if you want, you check it out. 48 into 8, it is nothing but 384. 64 into 6, that also is nothing but 384. Only consider the last two cases right now. That means initially the truck was traveling at a speed of 48 kilometers per hour and it was taking 6 hours to reach the destination. But now it is traveling at a speed of 64 kilometers per hour. It is taking 8 hours. According to my assumption, it is taking 2 hours more, right? It is taking 2 hours more. But the question is also saying 2 hours more, right? The question is also saying 2 hours more. That means what is the initial speed is the question, because we have converted all the answer options to the initial speed right now. Initial speed should be how much? 48 kilometers. 48 kilometers. Sorry, 75% of the speed should be 48 kilometers. So answer for this question is, it should be 48. Answer is very beautifully. You can solve this. Answer for this question should definitely be 48, so that you can easily calculate what should be the final answer for this. I hope it is very clear for all the students listening to the class. Next question. The speed of train A is 25 kilometers per hour more than the speed of train B. Train A takes 4 hours less time to travel the distance of 300 kilometers compared with train B taking 250 time taken by train B to travel 250 kilometers. What is the speed of train A in kilometers per hour? Now see here, all the answer options which are given are nothing but the speed of train A. And the best method to solve this question is by answer options. Now, if I assume that the speed of train A, if I assume the speed of train A as 65 kilometers per hour, and the question says train A is 25 kilometers more than train B in speed. So speed of train B will be 40 in this case, and train A time taken to cover 300 kilometers it is 300 divided by 65. And train B time taken to cover 250 kilometers it is 250 divided by 40. And the question says train A takes 4 hours less time to travel a distance of 300 kilometers than what train B takes to travel 250 kilometers. That means basically the time difference should be 4 hours. If you take the difference of these two, it will definitely not be equal to 4 hours. First option will be ruled out. Please move ahead for the second option. If I assume that the speed of train A is 50, speed of train B will be 25 less than 50, which will be 25. Now, time taken by train A to cover 300 kilometers is, it is 300 divided by 50, which is nothing but 6 hours. And time taken by train B to cover 250 kilometers distance at 25 kilometers per hour is, it is 250 divided by 25. It will be 10 hours. And you can very clearly see that train A is taking 4 hours less than train B is taking. Time taken by train A is 4 hours less than what train B is actually taking, which is exactly according to the statement which is given in the question. Therefore, my second option should be the right answer. You don't need to use any equations, sir. I have told many times in many topics, the most easiest way of solving so many questions in the exam. I am not saying all the questions. Many questions in the examination hall can be solved so beautifully by using answer options. Please make use of answer options which are given in the questions very wisely. Answer options are not only meant for marking it, they are also meant for using it to solve the problems effectively. I hope the concept is very clear for all the students listening to the class. Hello my dear students. In this session, we are going to discuss a very important session on average speed. What is this average speed? First, let us understand the definition. So we know that speed is nothing but equal to distance by time, right? Speed is nothing but equal to distance by time. Average speed is what we are discussing right now. So speed is distance by time. Average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time, right? Average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time. This is the first important key point. Second important key point, many students might make a mistake here. Average speed, there is something called as average speed and there is something called as averages of the speeds, right? Averages of the speeds. There are 3 to 4 different speeds given, and if you take the average of all those speeds, these two are absolutely not equal, right? Again I am repeating, these two are absolutely different values. Please do not be in an assumption that average speed and averages of the speeds are equal. They both are definitely not equal. Now see here, let us take one simple example, simple question to understand how to find the average speed of the journey. Suppose a person is traveling from A to B. We will solve multiple questions, do not worry about it. A person is traveling from A to B. He is traveling from A to B at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, for example. Now he reached the destination called as B. Now he wants to return from B to A once again. For the return journey, he increases his speed by 90 kilometers per hour. That means from A to B, he is traveling at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. From B to A, he is traveling at a speed of 90 kilometers per hour. Your simple question is, find the average speed of the entire journey. Now your textbook will give 2AB by A plus B, all those things which we are not interested with. Now see here, I know that the distance between A and B is constant. I know that the distance between A and B is constant. Because the distance is constant, I will assume the distance as LCM of the given speeds. LCM of 30 and 90. LCM of 30 and 90, it is 90. That means I am assuming the distance between A and B as 90 kilometers. Average speed is total distance from A to B. He is traveling at a distance of 90 kilometers. From B to A, he is once again traveling a distance of 90 kilometers. So total distance is 90 plus another 90, which is the return journey. Total time from A to B, when he is traveling from A to B, in 1 hour he will cover 30 kilometers. To cover 90 kilometers, he will take 3 hours. From B to A, in 1 hour he will cover 90. To cover 90 kilometers, he will take 1 hour. Answer for this question is 180 divided by 4 or 90 divided by 2. Average speed of the entire journey is 45 kilometers per hour. I hope the concept of finding the average speed is very, very clear for every student listening to the class. Average speed, once again I am repeating, it is the total distance divided by total time, and that average speed is not equal to averages of the speeds. I hope one question I have taken, simple question. We will take multiple questions starting with the basic question what I have taken right now. Similar to that also we will solve another 1 or 2 questions, and then we will move on to little higher level questions also in this particular session. Now see here, see the next question here. The question says, a taxi goes from city A to city B at an average speed of 84 kilometers per hour. Same question. A person is going in taxi from city A to city B. He is traveling at a speed of 84 kilometers per hour from A to B. In the return journey, due to traffic, the average speed of the taxi falls by 24 kilometers per hour. That means he is not traveling at 84 kilometers per hour right now in the return journey from B to A. He is traveling at 24 kilometers per hour lesser than 80. That means it is 60 kilometers per hour. Find the average speed of the taxi for the total entire journey in kilometers per hour. Same explanation once again. Average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time. I don't know the total distance, but I know that the distance between city A and city B is constant. I will assume the distance as LCM of 84 and 60. LCM of 84 is 12 into 7. 60 is 12 into 5. So 12, take it outside. LCM of 7 into 5. LCM of two co-prime numbers is product. 7 into 5 is 35. So 12 into 35. 35 into 10 is 350. 35 into 2 is 70. So total distance is assumed as 420 in one direction. So from A to B he is traveling 420 kilometers. From B to A also he is traveling 420 kilometers. From A to B in 1 hour he will cover 84. To cover 420 he will take 5 hours. From B to A in 1 hour he will cover 60. To cover 420 he will take 7 hours. Answer is 840 divided by 12. 12 into 70 is 840. Average speed for this entire journey is 70 kilometers per hour, which is option B, which is, I think nothing is there, right? 12 into 7 is 84. I think definitely one of these the answer option should be 70. There is no doubt about it. Let us put an answer option which is not there in the given original options. Answer for this question should be 12 into 6 is 72, 12 into 7 is 84. Definitely the answer for this question should be 70 kilometers per hour, which is nothing but option E, right? I hope the clarity is very much there for all the students listening to the class, with a couple of basic questions being solved. Now see the next question also. I think the mistake here is all the four options whatever is given in this question are actually the answer options for the next question, right? So the person who has typed these questions in our office probably might have done this mistake. That's completely okay. Let us not worry about answer options anyway, as long as we know the concept behind solving the question. See this question. The question says a car covers the first 76 kilometers of its journey in 48 minutes and covers the remaining 45 kilometers in 40 minutes. What is the average speed of the car? Same to same question. Very easy. The person is starting by car here and somewhere he is ending here, for example. Now, the first 76 kilometers of the journey, he is just taking 48 minutes, right? He is taking 48 minutes. The remaining 45 kilometers of the journey, he is taking 40 minutes to cover the same distance, to cover the distance of 45 kilometers. Find the average speed is the question. It's very simple. We know that average speed is given by total distance divided by total time. Total distance is 76 kilometers plus 45 kilometers. So it is 76 plus 45 kilometers is the total distance traveled by that person in the car, and total time taken is for 76 kilometers he is taking 48 minutes. For 45 kilometers he is taking 40 minutes. Totally he is taking 88 minutes. Converted to hours. 88 divided by 60 hours. So if I further simplify this, 76 plus 45, it is nothing but 121. That 60 will come above and 88 will remain in the denominator. So this I can say that 11 into 8 is 88. 11 into 11 is 121. So this is 4 into 2 is 8. 4 into 15 is 60. 15 into 11, it is 165 divided by 2 kilometers per hour should be the average speed. 165 by 2 is nothing but, it is nothing but 82.5 kilometers per hour. Answer for this easy question is option A. I hope the first 3 or 4 basic questions along with the definition of average speed is very clear for all the students listening to the class. Next question. Now see this question. There is definitely some learning in this question. Please listen to this question very, very carefully. Now see here. The question says, a man travels from A to B at a speed of 36 kilometers per hour in 74 minutes. So that means a person is traveling from one place to another place and the speed is given as 36 kilometers per hour and the time given is 74 minutes. Let us write the diagram here, right? Let us write the diagram. A person is basically traveling from one place to another place. For example, this is A and somewhere here let us call it as B. The speed is given as 36 kilometers per hour and the time taken is given as 74 minutes, right? Time taken is given as 74 minutes and he travels a distance from B to C with a speed of 45 kilometers per hour in 111 minutes. From B to C, this is C, and he is traveling at a speed of 45 kilometers per hour. Time taken is 111 minutes. Calculate the average speed of the whole journey is the question, right? Calculate the average speed of the whole journey. Now see here. Generally, how will you calculate average speed? Average speed is total distance divided by total time. Distance traveled we don't know, but we can assume it as LCM of given speeds. But we also know that distance is nothing but speed into time, and speed value is given. Time value is also given. If you see the previous questions, here the distance value is given and speed value is given. So in the previous questions, speed value and the distance value were given. But in this question, speed value and the time value is given. So when you multiply those two, speed and time, you will end up with the distance basically. So I can say that speed is nothing but 36 kilometers per hour multiplied with time is 74 minutes, or it is 74 divided by 60 hours. Okay, this is one part of the distance. The next part of the distance is speed is 45 kilometers per hour, time is nothing but 111 minutes divided is nothing but 111 divided by 60 hours. So total distance we have written in the numerator right now. Total time is nothing but 74 divided by 60 hours plus 111 divided by 60 hours. So if you calculate this and if you simplify this, you will definitely end up with the right answer. But if you calculate, while calculating there are some observations, please observe carefully. First thing is whether they have given the unit in terms of minute or whether they have given in terms of hours, it will not make any difference, because 60 in the denominator and in here in the denominator, both the places it will cancel. So basically, whether you write it as 74 minutes and 111 minutes, it will not make any difference, because the denominator 60 in the numerator and the denominator will cancel out. That is the first observation. Second observation is, okay, let us simplify the remaining parts right now. Here I have 74. Here I have 111. 74 and 111 are multiples of 37. I will take that 37 common factor in the numerator. If I take that 37 common factor, the left out thing is 36 multiplied by 2, because it is 74, added with 45 multiplied by 37 into 3 is 111. So basically you got here 36 into 2, 45 into 3, divided by denominator, it is 74 plus 111. In denominator also I will take 37 common factor. 37 into 2 is 74, 37 into 3 is 111. So 37 cancels, and you calculate this, you will get the answer. I am least bothered about the answer. I am very much bothered about the method that you need to implement. This I will call it as method 1, because there are so many cancellations which are happening here. One of the cancellation is 60, that means you don't need to convert minutes into hours basically. Another calculation is that 74 and 111 are multiples of 37. So 37 will cancel out eventually. So instead of doing all these things and wasting our time in the examination, let us use a smarter approach. What is that smarter approach? See here, I will write the diagram exactly once again what I have written on method 1 also. From A to B, he is traveling at a speed of 36 kilometers per hour. Time taken is 74 minutes. From B to C, he is traveling at a speed of 45 kilometers per hour. Time taken is 111 minutes. Now, I know that whether it is minutes or whether it is hours, it really does not make any difference, which I proved it in method 1 also. Now, I also know that this 74 and 111, what is given in time, it is multiples of 37. That means from A to B, you can say that it is 37 into 2. From B to C, it is 37 into 3. That means time ratio is nothing but 2:3. And just for your information, this 2 and 3 are nothing but what you are getting here as 2 and 3. Exactly, they both are same. In the denominator also, whatever you got here as 2 and 3 is nothing but what I have written as the ratio in method 2. I hope you are very clearly understanding this. That means I right now want to get the average speed value directly. That means instead of 74 minutes and 111 minutes, I will just assume it in terms of ratio as 2 hours and 3 hours in terms of ratio. It's so simple. Just assume it as 2 hours and 3 hours. So average speed can be easily calculated as, can I say that in total distance, in 1 hour it will cover 36, in 2 hours it will cover 72. This 72 is nothing but what you got it as 36 into 2 in method 1. Next, in 1 hour it will cover 45, in 3 hours it will cover 45 into 3, which is 135. This 135 is nothing but 45 into 3, what you have got it in method 1. And total distance we have written, total time. total time is 2 hours plus 3 hours. That is exactly what you wrote here also. It is 5 hours. So you don't need to do all these extra intermediate steps which I have solved it in method 1 to get the answer for average speed. So fast, so quickly by using the concept of ratio. Take the time ratio and calculate it. No need to worry about it at all. Finally, you will get the answer so easily. So if you calculate this one, 130 plus 70 is 200. So 200 plus 7 is 207. 207 divided by 5, it is 41.2. Answer should be, 41.4. 41.4 should be the answer for this question, which is option D. I hope you understood that method 1 need not be taken care of. There are so many cancellations which are unnecessary extra things in method 1 which can be eliminated, and directly you can get the answer in method 2 without much of simplifications. Now, just for you people to understand it much more better, I will take one more question, similar kind of question, but I will just put it in numerical values. Suppose for example, I am traveling for the first 83 minutes. I am traveling for the first 83 minutes at a speed of 38 kilometers per hour, and the next part I am traveling at a speed of 47 kilometers per hour, and the time taken here also let it be 83 minutes only, right? Let it be 83 minutes only. Question is so simple. It is exactly similar to the previous question. Instead of 2:3 ratio, now I am taking 1:1 ratio. That's the only difference. This is another question. I am just giving a practice question so that you will understand it much more better, sir. Nothing else, right? So question is, find the average speed of the journey, right? Find the average speed of the journey. Now 83:83 is nothing but 1:1 ratio. So can I say that, I can easily say that this is 1 hour ratio with 1 hour. So in 1 hour it will cover 38. Here also it is 1 hour. So it should cover 38 into 1 plus total distance. In 1 hour it will cover 47. Here also it is 1 hour. So it should cover 47 divided by total time. How much time it is? 1 plus 1, 2 hours. So simple. You can solve this question at the most easiest way possible if you use this kind of methodologies. So answer will be 85 divided by 2. 85 divided by 2 should be the answer for this question. 85 divided by 2 kilometers per hour should be the final answer for this question. I hope you are very clear. You don't need to write all these intermediate steps what I have written in method 1. Directly you can solve by using method 2 so fast, and you can save a lot of time in the examination hall, which you can use it for some other question. Next question. Now see here. This is your original 2018 mains question. Please listen to this carefully. The question says, a person covers 40% of the distance from A to B at 8 kilometers per hour, 40% of the remaining distance at 9 kilometers per hour, and the rest at 12 kilometers per hour speed. Find the average speed of the entire journey is the question. Now see here. Can I say that because it is given in terms of percentages, I will assume the total distance as 100 kilometers. If I assume the total distance as 100 kilometers, 40% of the distance from A to B, that means 40% of 100 is 40 kilometers distance. He is traveling at a speed of how much? 8 kilometers per hour. Now out of 100, 40 is over. Remaining, out of the remaining 60 kilometers, 40% of that 60 remaining is traveled at 9 kilometers. That means out of 100 kilometers, 40 kilometers of distance is already covered. Remaining is 60. Out of that remaining 60, he will cover 40% at 9 kilometer. What is 40% of 60? What is 10% of 60? It is 6. 40% of 60 is, it is 6 into 4. Remain next 24 kilometers, he will travel at 9 kilometers per hour speed, and the rest of the distance at 12 kilometers per hour. How much is remaining right now? 40 plus 24 is 64 is over. Another 36 is remaining, so that it becomes 100 kilometers. Now, total distance divided by total time is nothing but the average speed. So, can I say that average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time. Total distance is 40 into 8. These are all kilometers, right? 40 into 8. In 1 hour it is 8. to cover, it is nothing but 40 into 8, right? 40 into 8. So like that you can easily calculate, sorry, not 40 into 8, these are all the distances only, right? So these are the distances. So total distance as of now is 40 plus 24 plus 36 divided by total time. Now listen carefully. Now there is a small understanding here. Divided by total time. Now total time. Time is nothing but distance by speed. Distance is 40. Speed is 8. 40 divided by 8, it is 5. It is a whole number. No problem. Why am I not writing here? Because you will understand in the next one. Now, next part of the time. Time is distance by speed. Distance is 24. Speed is nothing but 9. 24 divided by 9. It is a fractional value. That means I don't want to work with fractions. Let me use a different color. I don't want to work with fractions. I want to avoid fractions. If I want to avoid fractions, what I will do is, I will not take distances as 40, 24 and 36. I will make sure that this 24 when divided by 9, I am getting a fraction. 24 should be multiplied by some number, and that number when you divide by 9, you should get a whole number. That means 24 into 3, 72. 72 divided by 9 is a whole number. So 40 also should be multiplied by 3. Anyway, 40 into 3, 120 by 8 is also a whole number. 36 by 12, it was giving whole number earlier itself. If I multiply by 3 also, it will not affect me to give me the whole number. It will still give me the whole number itself. So now I can calculate the total distance as total distance is 120. Numerator is 120. Here it is 120. So here it is. Okay, let me write if you want. 120 plus 72 plus 108 divided by total time. 120 divided by 8. It is 15 hours. 72 divided by 9, it is 8 hours. 108 divided by 12, it is 9 hours. Calculate this, you will get the answer. I hope you are very clear why I have multiplied by 3. If I do not multiply by 3, 40 divided by 8, you will write here as 5. But the next value, 24 by 9, you will write it as 24 by 9 only, which is a fractional value. Why to take fractions? Just multiply all the three things by 3 so that you will avoid fraction. See here, are you getting fraction? No. Fraction in the sense I am not talking about numerator by denominator, because average speed definitely is numerator by denominator. Not that. Something like 8, instead of 8 I have 24 by 9. That is one more fraction out inside a fraction. That you should try to avoid it, is what I am trying to say. Now calculate. 72 plus 108 is 180, 180 plus 120 is 300, 300 divided by 15 plus 17, which is nothing but 32. So I can also write it as 4 into 75 is 300, 4 into 8, 75 divided by 8, and convert it into mixed fraction, because answer options are given in terms of mixed fraction. 93 by 8 kilometer per hour should be the answer for this question. Beautiful way of solving the question. Please make use of multiplying by 3 concept, whatever I have taught you in this problem, so that you will have super confidence in solving in the examination hall. Now, a smart student might get a doubt. Sir, this method, whatever you thought right now, absolutely I loved it and I understood completely, no doubt about it. Every part of the explanation, whatever you gave, I understood entire thing, no doubt about it. But in all the previous problems, you were taking the distance ratio. You were taking the ratio of the distance. Let me show it to you, right? In all the previous problem, these are nothing but the ratio of the distances. In the previous problem, 3:4 is nothing but the ratio of the distances. Here also 5:7 is ratio of the distances. But why you did not take the ratio of the distances in this particular problem? Can we solve this question also by taking ratio of distances like the way we solved all our previous problem? Absolutely yes. That is the beauty of learning through concept. Now this I will call this question, whatever I have solved the method, as method 1 right now. I will also take one more method, very beautiful method, which I have solved it in my previous problems, in fact, where I took the distances ratio, and I will solve and I will still get the same answer, 9/3/8 kilometers per hour, which we will validate it. Now see here. Question says 8 kilometers per hour is the first speed, and then 9 kilometers per hour is the second speed, and then the third speed is 12 kilometers per hour, right? 12 kilometers per hour. And we know from the previous method that the distances are 40, 24 and 36. Let me not write that values once again and waste my time. 40 is 4 into 10. This is 4 into 8. This is 4 into 9. So the distances ratio is 10 is to, how much it is? 8 is to, no, sorry, not 4 into 8, 4 into 6 is 24. So 10 is to 6 is to, and the last value is 36. So 10 is to 6 is to 9 is the distances ratio. Can I use the method what I have implemented in the previous questions, where I solved by using distances ratio concept? Absolutely you can use it. Now see here, 8, 9 and 12. I will assume the distance as 172 kilometers. In fact, I can just take it as 72 kilometers because 72 is a multiple of 8, 9 and 12. Now in 1 hour it is 8. To cover 72 it is 9 hours. In 1 hour it is 9. To cover 72 it is 8 hours. In 1 hour it is 12. To cover 72 it is 6 hours. I want to find the average speed. Absolutely same concept like the way I solved previously. I told you that the distance which I assumed is 72. Write down that 72 multiplied with sum of the distances in the ratio. 10 plus 6 plus 9, it is 25. I hope you are understanding. Divided by total time. 10 into 9 hours, it is 90. Plus 6 into 8 hours, it is 48. I hope you are all understanding this concept, right? 6 into 8 hours is 48. 9 into 6 hours, it is 54. Please calculate and check whether you are getting the same answer like the previous method. Absolutely, definitely you will get it. Now 90 plus 40 is 130, plus 50 is 180. 188 plus 4 is 192. 192 is what I got in the denominator. And I can simplify this further. 8 into 9 is 72. 8 into, how much it is? 8 into 2 is 16 and 32 is remaining. 8 into 4 is 24, right? So I am left with, again you can simplify. So this is 3 into 3 is 9. 3 into 8 is 24. 75 divided by 8 is what you got. That is exactly what you got in method 1 also, which I converted to mixed fraction as 9/3/8 kilometers per hour. You use this method of method 1, whatever I have shown you in the screen right now. Beautiful method, in fact, which will avoid using fractions. Or you use the method whatever we have implemented from so many problems, where you can take the distances ratio and calculate the average speed so beautifully. It is your decision to decide which method to be implemented. But I believe that both the methods are very clear for all the students listening to the class. Next question, see here. Question says, a train goes from P to Q with a speed of u kilometers per hour. Let me write the diagram. There is a train which is traveling from P to Q, right? There is a train which is traveling from P to Q, and the speed is given as u kilometers per hour. Then Q to R, then it is traveling from Q to R, in fact, right? Then it is traveling from Q to R, and it is also given that QR is 2 times of PQ. That means whatever the distance you have for PQ, QR will be 2 times of that PQ, right? QR is 2 times of that PQ, and Q to R, it is traveling at a speed of 3u kilometers per hour. This distance, this speed is given as 3u kilometers per hour. That means if the distance from P to Q is 1 unit, then the distance from Q to R will be 2 times of that. It will be 2 units. Absolutely clear till this point. And then returns from R to P with a speed of u by 2 kilometers per hour. It is returning from R to P like this, and it is now traveling with a speed of u by 2 kilometers per hour. What is the average speed of the train for the entire journey, starting from P, right? Starting from P and back to P, right? It will start from P, it will go to Q, and then it will go to R, and it will be coming back to P once again. What is the entire journey's average speed is the question. So beautiful way of solving once again. Now see here, can I say that speed from P to Q is U, speed from Q to R is 3U, speed from R to U is, R to P is, it is U by 2, right? It is U by 2. And distance ratio from P to Q, the distance is 1 according to ratio. From Q to R, the distance is 2 according to ratio. From R back to P, it is 2 plus 1, totally it is 3 according to ratio. So distance ratio is 1:2:3. I can assume the distance as LCM of U, 3U and U by 2, which is nothing but the LCM of the speeds. So LCM of U, 3U and U by 2, it will be 3U kilometers. 3U kilometers is the assumed distance. So U kilometer per, in 1 hour it will cover U. To cover 3U, it will take 3 hours. I hope you are understanding. In 1 hour it will cover 3U. To cover 3U, it will take 1 hour. In 1 hour it will cover U by 2. To cover 3U, it will take 6 hours. 3 into 2, 6 hours. I hope you are very clear with the beautiful concept what we are trying to learn here. Now, average speed. It's so simple right now because everything we have diagrammatically written, everything possible. Average speed, total distance. Distance I assumed is nothing but LCM 3U. Multiplied this with the sum of the distance ratio, 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. Total time, it is 1 into 3 plus 2 into 1 plus 3 into 6. 18 plus 2, 20, 20 plus 3 is 23. 18U divided by 23 kilometers per hour should be the answer, which should be option A. I hope you are super clear with all the problems whatever we have discussed till now. Next question. Ankit traveled the first half of the distance from house to school at a speed of 36 kilometers per hour. Now, half of the distance, which is 1 by 2, right? Which is 1 by 2. And for exactly 3/5 of the remaining, 3 by 50 is given in the question 3 by 5. Now, what I will do is, there is a denominator 2 which I should cancel out. There is a denominator 5 which I should cancel out. I will assume the distance as LCM of 2 and 5. I will assume the distance as 10, right? LCM of 2 and 5 is 10. So, total distance from home to school. Total distance from home to school, I am assuming it as 10 kilometers. Now start the question once again. Ankit traveled the first half of the distance. Half of the distance is nothing but how much? It is 5 kilometers, right? This 5 kilometers, he is traveling at a speed of 36 kilometers per hour speed, and exactly 3/5 of the remaining. Now, out of 10, 5 kilometers is already covered. Remaining is another 5. What is the 3 by 5th of the remaining 5? 3 by 5th of 5 is another 3 kilometers. That means another 3 kilometers. Ankit traveled at the speed of how much? 40 kilometers per hour, right? 40 kilometers per hour. And the rest of the journey is how much? Another 2 kilometers only spending to reach his school from home right now, right? So the rest of 2 kilometers he traveled at 48 kilometers per hour speed. Find the average speed of the entire journey is the question. Exactly same to same question. You can write it like this. In fact, like this you can write it, but because I have written the diagram already horizontally, let me try to do it like that itself. Now see here, the ratio of the distances is 5:3:2. Distance ratio, we know it as 5:3:2. And I will assume the distance as LCM of the speeds, 36, 40 and 48. LCM will be 720 kilometers. This is my assumption. In 1 hour it is 36. To cover 720, it will be 20 hours, right? It will be 20 hours. In 1 hour it is 40. To cover 720. 720 divided by 40, how much it is? It will be 18 hours, right? It will be 18 hours. In 1 hour it is 48. To cover 720, it will be 15 hours, which you can check it out if you want to, right? It will be 15 hours. Now, we know that 20, 18 and 15 hours are the time taken. What we need to calculate? Very simple. Average speed. Average speed is total distance, we assume the total distance as 720, write it down, that multiply with sum of the speeds of sum of the distance ratios, 5 plus 3 8, 8 plus 2 10, please multiply with that, and total time 20 hours for 5 kilometers, 20 into 5, it is 100. And okay, let me use a different color if you really want to, if you are getting confused. So this will be 20 into 500, 18 into 3, it is 54, and then 15 into 2, it is 36. I hope you are understanding, sir. This kind of problem we have solved so much by now. 15 into 2 is 30, not 36 here, right? There should not be any confusion by now. I am solving different varieties of questions, but the approach remains the same. Now, if I further simplify, it will be 720 into 10 divided by 100 plus 54 is 154 plus 30 is 184. So it will be 184 there, right? A denominator will be 184. Further, you can simplify this. How can I simplify this? Which number it will go with? I think 72, I think 4, not 4 basically. 8, I think 8, we can check it out, right? 8 into 90 is 720, 8 into 2 is 16, and 8 into 3 is 24. Yes, so 900 divided by 23 should be the answer for this question. 23 only, right? Because 23 into 8, yes, 20 into 8 is 163 into 8 is 24. Yes, 900 divided by 23 kilometers per hour should be the final answer. But you should convert that into decimal value. 900 divided by 23. If you calculate that, 900 by 23, you just calculate it, sir. 900, you can check it like this. 23 into 40 is 920, because 23 into 4 is 92. 23 into 40 is 920. But it is slightly lesser than 920. Answer should be slightly less than 40, which should be 39.13. It is too much less than 40. It is more than 40 ruled out. It is also too much less than 40. Very closer to 40, 39.13. You can check it in calculator. I just did by approximation. 900 by 23 should be somewhere around 39.13 kilometers per hour. But more than calculating 900 by 23, I personally believe that average speed concept in all the problems using the distance ratio or some other varieties of problems is very, very beautifully clear for all the students listening to the class.